Hello everyone, I'm Nate.
And I'm Johnny.
And welcome to the third episode of Creepcast. This one was going to be a banger, but it's probably not anymore because we're burnt out and tired.
Say, Nate.
Yep.
So, you remember back in 7th grade when we had that science experiment with the gummy worm?
Yep, I do.
And she specifically told us not to eat the gummy worm. Do you remember what I did?
Let me think for a second. You ate the gummy worm.
I ate the gummy worm.
Immediately after she told him not to.
Immediately after.
Down the hatch was like, oh, gummy worm, yummy.
I was hungry. I wanted the gummy worm.
Hungry for what? A detention? That's what you got.
That's what I got, yeah. I mean, it was worth it though. The gummy worm was pretty good.
Yeah, that experiment was crazy for sure, but it's nothing compared to the experiments that we are about to tell you about. Definitely. There's some pretty bad stuff in there, actually.
Yeah.
In SFW. Might have to age restrict this video. I'm not going to, though.
You're not going...
It's education.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
It's edutainment.
Edutainment?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's our first guy?
Our first one. See, you can't have an episode about terrible human experiments without including the Nazis.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so Joseph Mengele is our first guy, the angel of death, you know,
yeah.
the doctor from Auschwitz-Birkenau 2. Yeah,
Two?
him. 2, yeah.
There was a second Auschwitz-Birkenau?
Yeah, I learned that in the first attempt to record this.
I don't think you're understanding that Auschwitz-Birkenau was the second Auschwitz.
Oh.
There's no Auschwitz.
Is that what Birkenau 2 means?
That's what Birkenau. There's no 2 at the end. It's just Birkenau.
Is that what Birkenau means?
That's what
Does Birkenau mean 2?
I don't know what Birkenau means. I just know it's the second
It means
one.
2. That's what I said it meant.
That's what
so
you
now
said.
So now it means 2. Sorry, Germans.
Apparently Birkenau means 2. If we ever have any German viewers,
yeah,
that's what it means.
So this guy, he really liked to experiment on the patients that went there. So that went to Auschwitz. I wouldn't really call them patients because I don't think there was anything wrong with them. I don't. They did though. They
were more like
Jews very much.
Prisoners.
Yeah, they were prisoners. Yep.
Yeah.
Not really patients.
So,
but Mengele's patients did get treated better.
I mean, about how much better could you get treated at Auschwitz-Birkenau?
That's true. Yeah, I mean, the bar is pretty low there.
The bar is pretty low.
I mean, if you get a bed, then you're you're living the good life.
As I said before.
I mean, as compared to the guys there.
Yeah.
You're living the good life in general. It's still pretty bad.
As I said before, if you're going to Auschwitz-Birkenau, you're already having a bad day.
You are already.
You are already having a terrible.
Your day is already an L.
A terrible experience.
So he had no consideration for what the patients endured. So basically, he didn't care if they were in pain or anything. He just did stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's a Nazi.
So it's not too far out of left field for them, you know.
Yeah. Didn't his wasn't he more infatuated with twins?
Twins, yes.
Yeah.
Twins was his main thing. I think he injected one twin with diseases or something, and then expected the other one to also have the disease. I think is what I read.
It's like
something
twin
like that.
connection he was trying to test.
Yeah, like telepathy.
Yeah. Sure.
Yep. And he also liked people with different colored eyeballs.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Which is that's not a huge deal. That's not big or anything.
I mean, imagine you get targeted by the angel of death himself just because you have fucking blue eyes.
No, not blue eyes, blue eye, and then the other one is brown.
So he was wanting people.
I swear to God, if you said he had a valid point,
he did
I
not
thought
have
you were
a
gonna
valid
say
point.
that.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna say, "Oh yeah, that's I see what he was doing now. Oh, all right."
I mean, they had different color. So one eye was blue and the other one was green. That's the people he would be infatuated with.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the.
It's still
experiments.
bad.
I don't get the experiments. I get, what you were talking about.
I think he took the eyeballs out. Like he injected them with poison or something. But what I read now, this is all on the internet. It was a Wikipedia article, so it's pretty trustworthy. But apparently, he would take their eyeballs out and ship them to Berlin for testing.
Really?
Which is weird because just imagine getting an Amazon package with eyeballs in it.
Amazon package of eyeballs.
I mean, really, what could prepare you?
I mean, any package that's signed from Joseph Mengele, is gonna be some weird shit. So I would be expecting.
Sends you an arm.
Yeah, I'd be expecting the worst going into the post office.
He just pulled out a jar from a box like, oh, that's a severed nut sack.
A severed nut sack.
Oh, so here's another one. He also liked to experiment on midgets too. He liked midgets.
Midgets.
Yeah, they're called little people actually.
Little people.
It's not midget, it's little person.
I wonder who came up with the word midget. Like,
I don't know.
Who just seen the short was like, yeah, that's a midget.
I don't know, but he got that spot on. That's a midget for real.
Yeah, that's a
like
midget
that.
for real.
That word just fits so well with what they are.
I wonder what experiments could he be doing to little people? Like,
I don't know.
I imagine
what. I don't know.
Trying to like.
I'm not a Nazi man.
I'm not a Nazi man.
No, I imagine he dissected them like some other people he experimented on.
Yeah, true. That's a given. I mean, he dissected almost everybody.
Yeah, he liked autopsies a lot. He loved his autopsies.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the guy from American Horror Story, the scientist from that show. If you're familiar with that show.
No, I'm not.
It's basically a show on Netflix. Really good show. I recommend you watch it. Of course, we're not sponsored by Netflix. Unless you guys wanted to sponsor us.
Call us.
Yeah. Anyway, basically in the second or third season, it's the tone is set in a mental ward.
Yep.
And in the mental ward, there's a side character, and he's like a kind of Nazi doctor. But he's a German doctor, not Nazi. But one of the B plots revolves around figuring out if he's Joseph Mengele, like, because you know how the theories say that Joseph Mengele escaped. Like, those are real theories. The real theory.
I think he did escape from the Nazi thing.
Yeah, it was a whole big thing on the news, and they thought they found Joseph Mengele's remains like in like fucking Brazil or something like that.
Brazil.
Yeah. It was like the leading theory was like that he escaped to Brazil or somewhere down there in South America.
Okay.
But anyway, so they were trying to figure out if that guy was Joseph Mengele, and I think by the end of the season they seen that he wasn't, like he was just a regular Nazi doctor that liked experiments.
A regular Nazi doctor, yeah, obviously. He
wasn't Joseph Mengele.
An everyday run-in-the-mill Nazi doctor, obviously. Right.
Run-of-the-mill crazy Nazi doctor.
Okay. But, that's not our only eyeball-related experiments today.
Oh, it's not.
Joseph Mengele, yeah. Have you ever heard of Unit 731?
I actually have heard of that. Didn't they operate under the alias of a lumber mill?
They did. That was their cover story. I think they were in a district of China, and they told everybody that they were a lumber mill. Yeah. Which is why they referred to their, guinea pigs, experimentees. That's why they referred to those people as logs.
It was like a joke around there to say logs.
That's pretty messed up.
That is real messed up.
I mean, you have to be kind of messed up to
do that stuff. But.
Let me see. You have to be messed up to place someone in a low pressure chamber until their eyeballs pop out.
Ugh. I imagine just the pulling on your eyes.
Yeah. So Unit 731, also in the World War II era, it was a biological and chemical warfare research facility.
I got a question for you.
Okay, sure.
Do you think the Nazis or the Japanese were worse with the experimentation?
Judging by what I've read in preparation for this video, gonna have to go with the Japanese.
The Japanese, yeah, I thought the same thing too. The Japanese were really messed up.
Yeah, they did some.
Back then, not saying Japanese people nowadays are messed up.
Honestly, if you are like, if you got caught by a Japanese guy and you are a POW, I think that you're having a worse day than the guy at Auschwitz. I argue, of course.
Maybe. I mean, I might see them having the same day.
I mean, it's still a really sucky.
Unless you're the guy getting like spun to death, like in the that unit.
Yes.
Would
So
do.
yeah, there's people were placed into centrifuges and spun until death. So
Yeah.
he's definitely having the worst day out of everybody.
Yeah, he's going through it. Like
He's going through
as
it.
I said.
Yeah.
As I said, he's having a bad day.
I just noticed that there were buttons all over there. I didn't notice that before. Huh. I'm just now finding out things about the set, which is my actual literal basement.
How did you not know that?
I don't know. It's weird because I've lived here for 10 years, but I'm only just now seeing the buttons.
Maybe a ghost put him there.
Ooh. Next episode topic, where did these buttons come from? So they burned these logs so nobody could trace them or anything, so they turned them into firewood, I guess.
Turned them into firewood.
Yeah. Dissected people without anesthesia, which is...
That's terrible.
Yeah. So, little fun fact, I recently had surgery on my nose, and I was put on anesthesia, and when I woke up, the pain was immeasurable. So I can only imagine what those guys felt without anesthesia. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, imagine a whole pain that you were feeling, like just like constant throughout the surgery. Like, it may be even worse because they were like, cutting your nose open and stuff. I couldn't like.
I don't know. I didn't feel it.
I mean, I meant the pain like afterward.
Oh.
Imagine that afterward pain. Like,
I bet it was way worse during.
Probably. Like, I don't know. I just couldn't imagine being dissected without at least like, maybe like, what's the one they what's that one drug they use?
Anesthesia?
Nah, it starts with an morphine.
Morphine.
At least some morphine. Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could imagine. I feel like that would be kind of semi-bearable.
But didn't they also do like injections of like seawater and like poison?
Yeah, that one. The seawater is a weird one.
Yeah.
I must say, it is kind of. I feel like seawater is pretty dirty, though.
They were trying to. Maybe they were trying to see if the patients would turn into like Aquaman. Yeah. What if they turned into Aquaman? What?
I definitely just saw that TV. Look.
Oh shit! It's glitching.
Whoa.
That's interesting.
So yeah, I just couldn't imagine why seawater.
They wanted to see if they turned into Aquaman or like Lagoon Boy.
Lagoon Boy?
Yeah, Lagoon Boy.
Mermaid Man? Barnacle Boy? I don't think that was the main goal there. I don't think they were trying to create superheroes, because then one of their own would have had to drink seawater at some point, which is nasty.
Yeah, seawater.
I personally don't like seawater that much. I've had a tiny bit and it sucks.
You've had a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, salt water in big amounts will actually kill you. So.
Yeah, because it like dehydrates you,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Which is weird because like we're made of salt water, I think.
Maybe that's what they were going
Salt
for.
water.
Maybe they were going for like how fast you would die from salt water. Maybe that's what they were kind of doing with that.
That's just rude. So, let me go ahead and I pasted a paragraph from a Wikipedia article. In other tests, subjects were deprived of food and water to determine the length of time until death. placed into low-pressure chambers until their eyes popped out from their sockets, experimented upon to determine the relationship between temperature, burns, and human survival, hung upside down until death, crushed with heavy objects, electrocuted, dehydrated with hot fans. This one's definitely the funniest yet saddest one. Placed into centrifuges and spun until death. That's terrible. Injected with animal blood, notably horse blood. Exposed to lethal doses of X-rays. Subjected to various chemical weapons inside gas chambers. Injected with seawater. And burned or buried alive.
They were kind of just doing like side missions at that point.
They really did just decide to bust out the side quests for this.
Yeah,
one.
like what experiment could you be doing by hanging somebody upside down until they die? Like, what do you gather from that?
Do it jiggle.
Do a jiggle.
Do a jiggle experiment.
Do it jiggle experiment.
Yeah.
Or like,
I don't see why not.
Spun to death. What do you gather from that? Like, the victim died of dizziness. Crazy.
I don't know. I would imagine that they were like, I don't know. You know, I can't even imagine why they would do that. Actually,
that's what I'm saying.
Even in my imagination, can't come up with a good plausible reason as to why they would spin somebody to death. Maybe just for fun.
Maybe just
they just needed a day off from all the serious experiments.
Like,
they needed a day off from all the serious experiments, so they just decided to spin a guy to death.
Yeah, most of those experiments had to have been for fun, because I couldn't see like a use to do that. I mean, but I'm also not like a crazy Russian scientist or Nazi scientist or Japanese scientist or whatever scientist you want to be. I'm not a crazy one.
Oh yeah, and here's one I forgot to say. Human targets were used in the testing of grenades.
Oh yeah, I actually remember that.
Which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I remember reading that. It was like they were like fucking... I remember reading one thing of a survivor, actually.
How do you survive any of that?
Because, so you know how they were used for testing of flamethrowers, grenades, machine guns, stuff
Sure.
like that.
Whatever.
Yep. Well, by the survivor's account, they took a bunch of people out into this field, and they let them run. They basically let them go, and they would shoot them as they were running. And this one guy, he got shot in like the lower torso kind of area, like in the stomach area, I think it was. But he played dead, so they took him to a mass grave, and they left him there for the night. And so after like the soldiers, went to sleep and stuff, he got up and he ran like as far as he could to like authorities. And that's how he escaped.
Fair enough. I would do the same.
So yeah, that's good. He I guess you could say he won the gulag.
He really did want to do that. Here, I'm gonna put a picture right there because that guy was awesome. You kicked butt over there. Good job.
He won the gulag.
Guy that I don't know the name of. So, our third topic. Ooh, this one's a good one.
Yeah, speaking of gulag.
There's some Russian for you here. Soviet Union era. So this one's a poison laboratory. So you can imagine all the kinds of tests they did for poisons, and usually lethal.
Wasn't it like they was trying to find an odorless, tasteless, undetectable kind of gas?
Yeah, post-mortem, undetectable, odorless, and tasteless. So that way they could kill people without detection or anything like that.
That's actually crazy. Like, imagine you're just chilling one day out on the sidewalk and then boom, dead. And they can't find the cause.
Imagine chilling and then boom, dead.
Yeah, and then they just can't find. They just don't know why you died because you're just dead.
So people of all ages were experimented on. So what do you think about that? Like children? So like what kind of covert spy mission like would you need to kill a kid in?
I mean, maybe they're like sleeper agent kids. I don't know. Looking at, I know. Actually, perfect example. Like, what if it's like the Boss Baby? What if you're going up against the Boss Baby? Like, then you can't do nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got that baby organization and stuff. Then that's when you need to, like, pull out the big guns.
I know. I just know for a fact that you did not just mention Boss Baby in an episode where we talked about Joseph Mengele, Japanese war crimes, and the Soviets poisoning people. I know that you did not just say that.
He got the dog. He got that dog in him.
You got that dog.
The Boss Baby has that dog in him.
The Boss Baby survived a Soviet prisoner of war camp. That's crazy.
Oh, speaking of them, doing it on children and all that. Do you think they followed the women and children first rule? Like,
definitely, yep. You got to be a gentleman when killing somebody.
Yeah, you got to be a gentleman when doing that stuff. At least I would want to die first. Like, I wouldn't want to watch everybody else die.
Yeah. We're not really children anymore, though. We're old.
Oh yeah, I'm an adult. I'm 18, so like,
yeah,
they're gonna kill me last.
That's crazy. So this gives you time to escape, though. Like I told him earlier, I was like, bro, you don't want time to escape? You just want to die immediately?
Yeah, because like who do you know has escaped from the secret Russian death prison?
Of course, so say you, the Boss Baby would.
I mean, okay, other than the Boss Baby, because obviously he's got that dog in him.
So other than the Boss Baby, who's escaped? Not sure.
Well, we'll put him up on the TV, right?
Yeah, there has to be somebody that's escaped from a Soviet prison. It's this guy.
Yeah, that guy right there. He's got that dog in him.
He's got that dog in him.
So what other things did they do? Did they do anything else but to find that gas?
Find that gas, the good kush. Yeah, it was basically just a branch of the Soviet services, but the Soviet secret services. But I couldn't imagine doing much else other than poisoning people.
Yeah, but they probably just did like different fucking toxins and shit on them, which is fucking sad. Like, imagine dying in that way. Like, imagine the last thing you see is the dirty ass walls of a Russian prison. Like,
that's true. You're having a bad day.
Yeah, you're having a bad day. Speaking of Russian experiments, have you heard of the Russian sleep experiment?
Kinda, yeah. I'm not exactly too knowledgeable on it or anything, but yes, I have heard of it.
Yeah, well, it used to be a big thing back in the day. People were thinking it's real, which in reality it's actually fake. Okay, it's not real.
It's a creepypasta.
It's fiction. Started on Reddit r/no-sleep.
Reddit. Reddit r/ what's that a reference to?
People thought it was real because of how well written and thought out and like how detailed it was. People just thought it was real,
J.K. Rowling decided to troll some Redditors.
Yeah, like literally it was like professionally written, everything. Like, people really thought it was real, and he came out and was like, no, it's not real. But also there were records and stuff. Obviously records don't say any sleep experiments happened. But
yep.
I'll give you a little bit of a rundown of it, what happened, because I got really into it because it was kind of interesting to me.
How long ago were you into it?
I think a couple years ago. I remember reading up about it.
Sounds interesting, though. Anything the Russians do is kind of interesting because they just do stuff.
Yeah.
They do side quests all the time.
They do side quests all the time, yeah. Like, so a little bit of a rundown is that they basically sent 5 American prisoners of war to a chamber.
Okay.
And they said, hey, if you guys survive a week on this gas we produced.
Oh my god.
If you guys survive a week on this good kush, we'll give you your freedom. You're allowed to go. You can walk Moscow and all that stuff.
I would
wherever.
do that. No Russian would actually give you your freedom, but I would do that.
Yeah, of course they probably didn't, expect to honor that deal, but
yeah. I would do that.
As an American, that would be your only hope.
It's a pretty sweet deal. I'd take it.
So, they sent him into the chamber. Sure. They pumped in that good kush.
Obviously.
And so for the first 2 days, it was relatively normal.
Yep.
The people kind of just talked to each other about, war stories, families back at home.
I'm going to play so much Fortnite when I get home. Wait a minute. It doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, like, normal conversations like that. And they were actually, in the story, portrayed to be treated pretty good. Like, they had 5 beds in the chamber. They had reading material.
Awesome.
They had a bathroom.
Sounds like a good time.
A fully stocked fridge with food and everything.
Yummy.
So like they were actually treated pretty good in the chamber.
Yeah. For a Russian prisoner of war, that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. So what ended up happening by day 3 is that the prisoners started getting weird.
Yep.
And they started like having paranoia and kind of going crazy and stuff. And like prisoners were saying to let them sleep and stuff. And they kind of just like all communication stopped inside of the chamber.
It's the sleep experiment, though. Didn't they sleep a bunch?
No, the sleep experiment was to stay awake.
Oh.
They pumped the gas in the chamber so they would stay awake. It was basically like they were testing how long you could stay awake.
Oh.
Yeah. So they wouldn't let, the gas was to make them not sleep. Mm-hmm. So people were like, begging to go to sleep, like begging for the gas to be turned off and stuff. But the Russians just kept going. So by day 4, it was just completely silent in the chamber. And so what happened was the Americans ended up covering the window because there was a small little observatory window outside of the chamber that scientists could look into. What they ended up doing is covering the window with like newspapers and like red kind of clumpy meat, it looked like. So what happened was the Russians, by day 5, they haven't heard nothing. They only heard stuff like mumbling and stuff. That's about it. So they sent some people to go into the chamber.
Bad idea.
To check on them. And so when they went into the chamber, it was described to be the most horrific scene. So the prisoners of war, the floors were completely covered with blood and human flesh. And what the prisoners of war were doing is that they were eating themselves. Like they were eating off bits of their arms or bits of their legs. And there was one prisoner in the middle who was dead that the other prisoners were feeding off of. And his whole like chest cavity, it was described, was opened up. The stomach was opened up and intestines were pulled out and stuff. It was just real gruesome. And on further inspection, the fridge with food and everything was fully stocked still. There was still fully edible food in the fridge.
Really?
They just chose not to eat it. They just chose to eat themselves instead.
She said, I'm going to acquire this taste today.
Apparently. And it was like, there was like feces everywhere in the chamber and stuff.
Ooh,
and
poopy.
so what happened was one of the guards tried to pull the prisoner out because, they decided to pull the plug on the experiment at this point after seeing the grotesque scene inside the chamber.
Russians would never pull the plug on that. That's how I know it's fake.
So the guard tried to pull him out, and the POW lunged up and bit his neck and killed the Russian soldier. So the other soldiers ran out, they locked the chamber, and they decided to turn off the gas to maybe see if that would make them sleep or go, sane maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
And after a couple hours of that, the only thing that was heard on the radio, it was turn on the gas, turn the gas back on. And so they decided they talked in the chamber. It was like, no, we're not going to do that. And so then after a number of hours, they heard screaming, they heard fucking banging on the walls, fucking just a bunch of horrific sounds, and they were screaming, turn on the gas now, turn on the gas,
Give
I
us
need
the
it.
good kush.
Yeah, give us the kush. So what ended up happening is they ended up turning the gas back on, and
Man, they were fiending.
they turned the gas back on, and then the people, they noticed that their brain waves would kind of like go dead for 5 seconds at a time and then continue going erratic. And they realized that they were going into micro sleep on the gas. And being taken off the gas, if they were to take off the gas for a long period of time, they would go into a coma. So what they did is they finally got the prisoners out of the chamber, and the first 2 died immediately after being taken out of the gas for so long. But the other 2, they were rushed to a hospital in Russia and tried to get fixed on. But the one soldier said, he basically said that he can't live without the gas anymore, and he killed himself in the hospital.
Oh my God.
While recovering, and then the other one just died of injuries, and so they all died. And so that's basically the summary of the story.
Yeah, that was definitely worse. That was so bad.
Yeah, that's fucking, like, if that happened in real life, imagine.
I'm guessing the one in the middle with the open chest cavity died.
Yeah, he was dead on inspection, you know. There was no saving him.
Dead on inspection. Oh, that sucks.
That's terrible. I mean, but it's an interesting read, you know.
It is. I'm surprised that guy came up with all that. It's
real.
quite a impressively detailed story.
Yeah. Like, if you read the story, I'm pretty sure it's a few pages long. If you read the story, it's like, it goes into incredible detail, like the amount of gore, you know. It's like you feel like you're really there, you know?
Yeah,
it's
like you're like one of the scientists.
Yeah, it's like you feel like you're really one of the scientists.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's an incredibly written story.
That's really good. Props to whoever wrote it, I guess, kinda. But also not props for tricking us all. That was mean.
That was mean. But a lot of people thought it was real.
Yes. Thank you all so much for watching. We continue to try to improve this show every time we're on here. And it would mean a lot if you would subscribe. It helps a lot in the long run.
Yeah, and also make sure you follow our social medias. Just got the new TikTok up and running.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, got 2 videos on there. And make sure you follow the Creepcast Instagram. And be sure to be on the lookout for further Creepcast updates. Until then.
Yeah, that's it for now. Wow, what an episode. That was crazy.
That was crazy.
That was insane. That took a while to record, but you know what? It was worth it. That was a fun topic here. Make sure to leave the topic suggestions in the comments.
Definitely.
We'll see you guys next episode.
Later.